Today we're going to talk about two-step word problems. We've been working on word problems that have big double-digit numbers in them, and we were working on learning the process for adding them. Now we're going to go back to smaller numbers that are less than 20, and we're going to work on doing more than one step to solve a problem. Okay? I wrote out one of these problems with different colors of markers so that you could see step 1 in the problem in one color, step 2 of the problem in another color, and the question at the end of the problem in another color. This is something you can do with your homework. In fact, I would love if you did this every time when you were working on word problems. You get a highlighter and highlight different parts of the problem with different colors, and that'll help you understand the problem and attack the problem piece by piece. Especially important with word problems. Let's take a look at this one. There were 17 plums on the table. 9 plums were sold. Mr. Green put some more plums on the table. Now there are 13. How many plums did Mr. Green put on the table? So you can see there are 3 different colors with this problem. This is the first part of the problem. We'll have to work that math first. Then we'll work this math in green. Then we'll come down to the question at the end of the problem, and we'll make sure that everything we did here answers the question in black. This is a very thorough way to look at word problems. Let's take this problem piece by piece. Oops. Okay, the first part says there were 17 plums on the table. 9 plums were sold. We can easily figure that out. We know that with the number 17 and 9 of them being sold, we know that 17 is our big guy total, and that 9 of them were sold. That's a part of them. Not all of them were sold, 9 of them. Part of them were sold. So we're trying to solve for the missing part. We know that we can use our Math Mountain to help us with this. We can grab our part, our known part, and count up 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Or we can grab our big guy total, 17, and count down the mountain. We'd have to come 9 steps down. To do this, I'm going to use Touch Math. (17), 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. That does not sound right. I didn't put enough touch points on there. There we go. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. There we go. That solves that 8 is our unknown part. But remember, that is only the blue first step of our problem. So we've done step 1, and the question, it told us there were 17 total and 9 plums were sold. So if we look at this, if 17 is our big guy total, 9 of them were sold. When we found our missing part, what we were finding is how many he had left. So let's label our Math Mountain to help us keep track of which number means which thing. So this was our total plums. 9 was how many were sold. 8 was how many were left. Plums left. Okay, now that I've labeled it, I know that I can go on to the second part of our problem in green. Mr. Green put some more plums on the table. So we know that he had these to start in the step 2 of our problem. He had these left on the table. He had 8. And then the story tells us that he put some more plums on the table. If he's putting more on the table, we know he's adding. We don't know how many. When it says put some more, it doesn't tell us a number. So I'm going to put a question mark to represent that unknown part. Now there are 13. It's telling us the total after they put more on the table. So I know that my known part, 8, the plums that were left, plus however many they added to the table, when you put those 2 parts together, I know that now there were 13. Now this is our total. So I can easily solve for this part right here because I know how to solve a problem when there's one part missing. The same way I did up here. I can build a math mountain, or I can count up or back using my equation. Before we solve that, let's see what the question is. Actually, no, let's go ahead and solve. Let's go ahead and solve for the unknown parts and label them. So 8 were how many were on the table. And this is how many were added to the table. So this is the more. And this is how many they have now, 13 now. Let's go ahead and solve for that. You can easily put this in a math mountain, or you could use dots. Let's use dots this time. I know that I have 8 for one part, and I need to know how many more I need to add to 8 to get to 13. So I'm just going to use dots to count on. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots to make this equation true to get to my total 13. So he added 5 more. Now let's look at the question at the end. We've completed the blue, step 1. We've completed the green, step 2. We have solved for our unknowns. Now let's see what the question is, and we should be able to answer it very easily from the math we did. The question says, how many plums did Mr. Green put on the table? Let's go back to our problem. We know that if we look at the green problem, that's where we drew our equation and our understanding for how many he put on the table. We know he put 5 more on the table, and that made the new total of 13. So the main question is asking us how many he put on the table. And we can see right here that our total is 5. So he put 5 more on the table. This is the answer to the question. We can also solve this problem by doing nothing but drawing pictures. Using a black marker, let me show you how you can show drawing pictures for this entire equation. Can't find my black marker. We're going to use green. Okay, so we had 17 total plums. Going to erase what we did before, show you the new picture drawing way. 17 total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm actually going to change the way I drew this. I want to see my total of 17 in groups of 5 because it makes it easier to count. I can even see that this is a group of 10 and that this is 7 more to show 17. So we had 17 total plums on the table. 9 plums were sold. So if 9 were sold, it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 were sold. Mr. Green put more plums on the table. Now there are 13. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After some of them were sold, we had 8. But then he added more till he got to 13. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is the more he added. This 8 up here was how many were left after he sold 9. And then, of course, the crossing out shows the ones that he sold. Okay. The question says, how many plums did Mr. Green put on the table? Okay. So we can look right here to see how many more he put on the table. He put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the table. We want to write a label. And there's our answer. Okay. This is also a very great way to solve this problem. You can use the equations in the Math Mountains, or you can just draw a very simple picture with labels that show each step of the two-step problem.